Hello, everyone. Artisto Art Supplies here. Welcome to our drawing lesson. All right, in this lesson, we're going to learn how to do 1-point perspective. Now, what is perspective? Well, perspective is just creating the illusion of three-dimensional space by using lines. Now, the great thing about perspective is that it can very accurately portray this 3D space by using this technique. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is grab the ruler. Once we have the ruler, we need to decide where we're going to put the horizon line. So the horizon line is just where the sky meets the earth. And so we need to figure out where that line is. Now, the higher the horizon line is, the more it's going to look like we're looking down on the object. The lower it is, the more it's going to look like we're looking up at. So for example, we're going to put it right about in the middle of our page, and we're just going to lightly draw that in. We don't want it too dark, because this isn't an actual permanent one. And then what we need to do is make 1 point. So since this is called 1-point perspective, that's because we use 1 point to create this perspective. And what this point is, it's the vanishing point. So everything goes back to this point and vanishes. So if you go out and stand on the middle of the street and you look all the way down to the end of the street, you'll notice that it all comes down to 1 point, and it's long enough. You'll see that the street just eventually disappears and becomes so small that you can't even see it anymore. That's the vanishing point. And so from this vantage point, we can draw any line we want out of it and use that as a guide to try to draw shapes. So let's try an example. So if we take a ruler and put on our vanishing point, then we can draw a line coming off that vanishing point. And we want to keep this line pretty light because you're going to come back and erase it later. So now we have 2 lines that are going after the vanishing point. The next thing we can do is draw a vertical line, and this one can be darker because we're actually going to leave that there. And then we can draw another one right next to it. So put another one right here. And then we want to draw a horizontal line coming off this corner, and then we'll do the same thing over here and try to make the same distance or length. And I'm going to connect those two. And you can draw a line from this corner to our vanishing point. You can draw a line from this corner to that one. So now we have a cube in perspective. Now what you need to do is erase away the vanishing point lines. These don't really appear in real life. We're just using those as a guide. So now we have our clear cube. And then if you want it to be a solid cube that you couldn't see through, you can go ahead and erase these lines back here on the other side of our cube. And then you're left with a solid white cube, and we can draw these lines in a little bit darker, but this can be applied to any area of our page. So let's say we wanted to make a square cube out here at the top. Well, all we have to do is draw our square and then draw a vanishing point line from each corner to our vanishing point. So we'll go ahead, drawing from there to there, and then we just want to connect a vertical line and then to connect a horizontal line. And then we just draw these lines darker, and then we can erase these lines out here. As you can see, that now we have two different cubes and they're in the same perspective. They're just in different positions. And so this one is on the right side of our vanishing point, and so we have more of this left side of our box. Now this cube is on the left side of our vanishing point, and so we see the right side of this box, and so depending on where it is, you'll see different faces. So let's try one more, because I want to show you how, if you put one down here, you can even see the top of your box. So if I draw a square, I can create a cube by drawing my line from there to there. And you can use a ruler. So now we can see the top surface of this cube. But since it's right in the middle underneath our vanishing points, we can't even see either side of it. We only see the front plane and the top plane. Now, I want to show you one more thing. You can create this perspective with any shape. You can create it with a triangle or with a circle. So we'll draw that in when all we have to do is connect each corner of our shape to our vanishing point. Same with our circles. So we can go ahead and solidify these two lines. And then I'm going to erase away my vanishing point lines. So this should give you a pretty good idea of how one-point perspective works. Now, we're going to create a drawing using one-point perspective. What you need to do first is create your horizon line. Remember, you want to keep it pretty light. Next, let's decide where one point is going to be. Now, let's decide what we want our picture to be. So I'm thinking that we want it to be a farm. So let's start drawing our farm. So the first thing you need to have on your farm is a barn. So I'm going to draw that barn right now. So we start off by drawing the front face of our barn. So the barn tends to be shaped like a square, and then we have sort of half a hexagon on top. Then we can solidify that shape by drawing it in even darker. And if you want, you can use your ruler to do this. Next, we want to add in our vanishing point lines. So we're going to draw one from each corner. Remember to keep these really light so that you can erase them. Let's add in the other edge of our barn. So we'll draw that line right there, and then we'll draw this one right here. Then we can solidify these lines that we want to erase away our vanishing point lines. The next thing you might have at a farm is a road. So let's create a road going along the side of our barn. So what we're going to do is just create one vanishing point line, and then we create another one. And now we have a road. We can add detail to this if we want. So we can add stuff like grass to the side of our road. Let's add some more detail to this barn. So first off, I'm going to add in a door. And then I'm going to draw a window. And then I can fill in this window with a dark value, since it's looking into a dark barn. Next, I'm going to add in some windows on this side of my barn. Now, since it's in perspective, we're going to do something a little bit different. So first off, we need to draw our vanishing point lines for the bottom and the top of our windows. Next, let's add in a fence to our barn. So I'm going to draw one of my vanishing point lines now, will be the bottom of my fence, and then I'll drive the next one over. So this is going to be a wooden fence. So there's the fence. So a lot of farms have a house. And so we're going to start off by drawing the side view of our barn, and then we'll add the top part. So let's add in the bottom vanishing point line for the house. And this house is going to be a little bit closer to the camera. So there's a side view of her house. And then we also want to add a roof for the porch. Next, we need to go ahead and add in some posts that are holding up this porch. Can also add in the other side of the post. Now we're going to want to go ahead and erase away the lines that's behind the post, so it looks like a solid object. Go and draw those lines back in. Then let's go ahead and do this post also. So we'll go ahead and we'll draw this line in. And in this case, we're actually only going to see this sign. Now, really quick, let's go ahead and add in a window out the side of our barn. And then let's go ahead and add a door on the front of our house. And now we have a door there, where we can even put a door handle on that. So now we just draw on a picture using one perspective, and we can go ahead and erase away all these vanishing point lines because we don't need them anymore. And our horizon line is really flat. Usually, our horizon line is not going to be flat like that in a drawing or when you look at things in real life. So, what we can do is we can change that up by hanging the horizon line onto more hills. So, I want to draw out the shape that I want my horizon line to be so. Let's add some more detail to our farm. So, there is a 1 point perspective. Now you can really take your time on this and spend hours, and you really should. I just don't want to spend too much of your time each day, and so I want to try to make this as quick as possible. But this is the basic idea of drawing a picture with one perspective. Now, your assignment for today is to draw a 1 point perspective drawing, and it can be whatever you want. Thanks for watching this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.